What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another action-packed edition of the Another 71 CPA Exam podcast. As always, I'm your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA by the grace of God and to the chagrin of many. Happy Thursday to you. Today is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. If you have a question, you can email me, jeff@another71.com. That's jeff@another71.com, or you can go to another71.com/ask Jeff. We begin with this. Mike Whitmire, a connection of mine on LinkedIn. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can go to another71.com/LinkedIn. That will redirect you to LinkedIn. He posted Illinois's new proposal for CPA eligibility, 120 credit hours plus 2 years of work experience, or a master's or 30 accounting credits plus 1 year of experience. And that's essentially what it is right now with the 150-hour rule. And there's changes underway in the CPA industry, in the CPA exam world. There's a push to remove the 150-hour rule. And why is that? It's because it doesn't work. And it doesn't do what it was designed to do, which is, in theory, it was supposed to create a more prepared CPA candidate who would be better prepared to serve the public interest. And turns out it's just not true. Just adding arbitrary hour requirements to accounting students does not make them better CPAs, because you can pile on all of the master's classes you want. You can force them to take a Mac or to get a Mac. It doesn't mean that they can pass the CPA exam. And everything that the CPA exam tests anyway, it's above and beyond what you would learn in a Mac program. Yeah, sure. A Mac would certainly help with the foundation of learning the material for the CPA exam, but the CPA exam tests the accounting material in a certain way. And it's obviously a standardized test, but just like your bachelor's degree, your bachelor's in accounting, a master's in accounting, it's mostly theory. How many Mac students can roll out of their Mac program and sit down and create a set of books from scratch? Probably not many. Why? Because we're sitting in classes talking about auditing theory and tax rules and governmental accounting. There's probably a lot of bookkeepers out there who can do a set of books better than a licensed CPA, which is highly ironic. And it's probably the thing that we don't like to talk about. And adding more accounting classes and piling more accounting classes and an extra blah, blah, blah class does not make you a better CPA. And it wasn't that way until 2004. And these rule changes are really taking us back to 2004. And so I see older CPAs. It's the classic paper and pencil versus computerized argument. Paper and pencil CPAs. Back in my day, we can only take it twice a year in May and November, and you had to condition. Otherwise, you had to take all 4 again. You had to get at least a 50% in all of them. And you kids these days have it so easy, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just simply not true. It's really what it is. It's older CPAs are just too busy doing important things like being parents, grandparents, running CPA firms to really sit down and understand what today's CPA exam is actually. It turns out the historic pass rates are about the same, but I would contend that, sorry, that was someone texted me. I would contend that today's CPA exam, like the actual exam, is harder than it was back in the day, and probably make some people faint. Today's exam is harder. You have to know more material. There's no objective argument against that. Now, you can make a case that today's exam day experience is less stressful than it was back in the day when you had to sit in a big hotel banquet hall or whatever with your 2 pencils and your calculator or whatever, and you can only take it twice a year. Yeah, you can make the case that today's exam is more convenient with continuous testing and all that. But today's actual exam with multiple choice questions and the task-based simulations, today's actual CPA exam is more difficult than it was back in the day. Today you have to know a little about a lot more material. And in some cases, you have to know a lot about certain pieces of material. And so when I see people on X or LinkedIn opining that you kids these days have it so easy and we need more education, not less, that's that's really an argument that's born out of ignorance, not malice. It's just ignorance, and they just haven't studied it. And so, actually, the proposed CPA licensure changes, like I see Blake Oliver on X says that Minnesota and Virginia are doing similar things, or they passed similar things. It's basically taking it back to a bachelor's degree plus 2 years of work experience. And so then the question is, who can sign off on that work experience? Is it do you have to work directly under like the supervision of a licensed CPA, or does someone in your department have to be a licensed CPA, or does a licensed CPA have to have direct knowledge and can attest to the work that you were doing, which is the one that gets my vote. Because what it does is it really messes someone up if they want to be a CPA, but they work in industry. Because what happens when CPAs leave Big Four and go to industry? A lot of them let their license lapse, because why would you want to take the CPE and all that? And you're not holding yourself out as a CPA in most instances in industry anyway. And the novelty of having CPA in your email signature, like, it long fades away, just like the novelty of having your CPA certificate in your office, it fades away. Most of them are collecting dust in the closet. And so people in industry typically don't keep up their CPE, and so they let their license lapse because it's a pain in the butt. CPE is worthless anyway. Probably not supposed to say that. And if they make it so that, and of course, this is for the states to have to, like, each state is going to have to make individual changes on this one particular item as far as who can sign off on experience. I wish there was just like it's a universal exam. I wish there was universal experience. It would also help with reciprocity, things like that. But if a licensed CPA can attest to someone's work experience, I think that's the best path. Bachelor's degree in accounting, sure, let's keep that. Yeah, it's arbitrary, but let's keep a bachelor's degree in accounting, 2 years of experience, and a CPA with direct knowledge who can attest to their experience. I think that's a reasonable solution. All right, question for the rest of you. Should the CPA eligibility standards be changed back to their pre-2004 status? Or is the change to the CPA eligibility rules, is that going to cheapen the CPA credential? Let me know in the comments. John writes in on LinkedIn DM. Longtime user of your Ninja materials. You've helped me pass auditing, reg, and ISC so far as a supplement to my main course. My FAR exam is on March 30th, hoping to nail it, but very concerned. My auditing score expires June 30th, 2025, so I don't have many chances. Thanks for your materials and helping so many candidates transform into CPAs. So, how do you deal with the pressure of an expiring CPA exam credit? It turns out I have a little bit of experience in this, in that I got a 74 on regulation and I had to pass it or I was going to lose my FAR credit. And if you know my story at all, you can read my story at another71.com/Jeff. I actually scored a second 74. And so I was 1 point away from being a CPA, and I went back instead of being a CPA or passing a CPA exam. Obviously, you have to be licensed, can't call yourself a CPA. Instead of passing, I went back to 2 sections passed, and it was an awful morning. I wanted to blame everyone. I thought the AICPA hated me, and I was singing a really sad song. And it turns out it was my fault. And there were some things on regulation that I just hated studying, like AMT and light count exchanges when you have a liability swap, all those fun things. Turns out I just really needed to study that. Yeah, I lost my FAR credit. And this is pre-2024, so FAR was the beast. Maybe it still is, but FAR was definitely the beast, and it's the one that you definitely don't wanna lose, and I lost it. And so, all of that to say, like, losing a CPA exam credit, not fun, but it's also not the end of the world. Like, today, I can sit on a podcast and tell an old war story about the CPA exam, and back in my day, I lost a FAR credit, etcetera. And at the time, it was awful, but today I can kinda laugh about it. And so, don't let the pressure of losing an exam credit cause you just to freak out and be stressful. Yeah, if it happens, it's not fun, but you will rebound, and it's fine. So, just study as you normally would, and just do what you did for auditing, regulation, and ISC, and you'll pass far. And because, like, we can get so worked up, and what happens is, while we're studying, we are thinking about that exam credit that's going to expire. Or while we're taking the exam, we're on question 5 and nothing's working out, and great, I'm gonna lose FAR, I'm gonna lose my credit, and you just doom yourself. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so, if you're up against it, if you're going to maybe lose a credit, it's not fun, but it's also not the end of the world. Just relax and focus. And yeah, if you lose auditing, not the end of the world. Obviously, you don't want to, but just focus on FAR and you'll be fine. So, question for the rest of you: have you faced a CPA exam credit expiring? And how did you handle the pressure? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I get this question quite a bit, and it's on college credits for the CPA exam. So, back to that dumb 150-hour rule. If you find yourself, like, maybe you didn't get a Mac, that's what I did. I didn't get a Mac. I worked in public accounting and went to night school. And I get a question a lot about how to get online credits that can get you 150 hours. You can get your 150 hours. So I reached out to an industry friend of mine. Some people in the industry like me. I think most are annoyed. And I said, "Hey, here's the question. I got, hope you're doing well. I passed the CPA exam with Ninja in December. Now I realize I'm missing 4 credits out of the required 150. Do you have any recommendations for a more affordable and expedited course to obtain the missing credit?" So I reached out to an industry friend of mine. I said, "Hey, where should people go?" Because I'm kind of out of the loop on that, and haven't really been looking for credits in a while. And he replied, Charter Oak State College. And I briefly looked at the website. What I would do, check out Charter Oak State College and look at the classes that you're thinking about taking. I would email your state board of accountancy director. Say, "Hey, these are the classes I'm thinking about taking. Will these will the board of accountancy accept these?" And the reason why I would email them instead of call is because you never want to get into a he said, she said, or whatever type of argument where you told me over the phone that these would work. No, I didn't. And so you want that direct, you want a paper trail, you want receipts. And same with CPE. If you ever going to take a CPE class, hey, will the board of accountancy accept this? Email the board of directors or the board of accountancy director. And so check out Charter Oak State College, email your state board of accountancy director and ask if this will work. All right, question for the rest of you. Have you faced a CPA exam credit expiring, and how did you handle that pressure? Let me know in the comments. All right, short and sweet. That does it for this edition of the Another 71 CPA Exam podcast. If you have a question, as always, you can email me, jeff@another71.com, or you can just drop a comment in whatever online medium you are watching this, and I will add it to the queue. And you can go to another71.com/ask Jeff. All right, be good, everyone. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.